Yo, what's up? Welcome to First Impressions, where we give our initial insights on comic books, TV shows, films, and video games. My name is K.C'arl Lee.
And I am Jaysen Headley, and we are joined by a very special guest this week.
Is
Ronnie, what's up?
Yay! Ronnie's joining us this week to talk about some video games and some comics. As always, our review system is out of 5 stars, so that's 2 stars for artwork, 2 stars for writing, 1 very special star if we think it needs a star. But if we're rating anything else, it's just 5 stars, and we just make it up as we go. So keep that in mind. All right, so oh my goodness. So this week, first comic up that we're going to start with
it's what, Jason?
is Memetic #2, or Memetic, or Memetic, or we don't really know how. Memetic. If you guys watch the show, you know that I loved the first issue. Second issue was no different. It was really heartbreaking. It's weird that this story is so like tongue-in-cheek as far as how they deal with a kind of a zombie outbreak, but it's really emotional. This second issue was really moving, and I love that it's really moving the pace. The fact that it's only 3 issues makes it really have to move pretty quickly, and that's something we don't see in comics a lot. And artwork is great, writing's great. I'm loving it so far. I can't wait for the conclusion. I give it a 5-star.
Wow.
I'm starting off the week strong, yeah.
Okay, well, I got Dark Engine #4, and you know, this is really interesting because it's a very goth fantasy book, and there's time travel involved. It's basically about these people in the future who send this crazy, weird, invincible woman to the past who has like this long-ass sword and a bone skull as a mask, go back there to defeat this evil so that the evil doesn't exist in the future. And spoiler alert, by the 4th issue, it turns out they realize, oh shit, the girl that we just sent back, she is the current evil that is destroying us in the current universe. Yeah, so I was like, whoa. And it's really insane because with her, every time she dies, she gets reborn out of some other person and explodes out of them. And it's like really amazingly graphic and crazy and insane, and it's just... And there's this other side story about this dragon who's inside this other big-ass monster that you're supposed to be able to control, and I'm not really sure I get it, but there's just, you know, that much mystery inside of all of this, and so there's all these little mysteries, but there's this little, you know, plotline you can still follow, and so I really, really enjoy it. I give it a 4!
Ooh, very nice. Good week so far. All right,
so my comic was Django Zorro #1, and that is written by Tarantino and Matt Wagner, who I'm a big fan of Matt Wagner's work and Tarantino's work. I'm a huge fan of Django. I've seen it about 10 times. I love it every time I watch it. So I was looking forward to reading this. The story is basically Django and Zorro and their introduction. It's a slow start, but I love the dialogue in it. I think they really captured Django's characterization really great.
Is there a lot of racial crap going on in there?
No, not as much as in the movie. No. I mean,
Zorro
they allude to like one N-word at one point, but then they stop. I think the person gets killed right before he's about to say it.
Oh.
Zorro doesn't?
The cover was amazing. There's 3 covers, but the one I really love is Jay Lee's cover, and I love Jay Lee's work to start. The artwork is the only part that I would kind of give it a lower grade, and it wasn't terrible, but I really was hoping to get something that was a little bit more representational of Jamie Foxxwood's, and maybe trying to do their best to kind of capture. I remember seeing some work from the the adaptation from the film, and I really think that they did a great job trying to capture Foxxwood's features, and they didn't do that in here. So that's what I say. So I would probably give it 2 for writing, 1 for artwork, and then I'd give it 1 for story. So 4 stars.
4, great, awesome.
4!
Very nice. Wow,
Jason,
so
what's
far.
your next book?
So my next book is Superman #36. You guys know I've really been enjoying this book. This week was the best issue of the Johns Romita Jr. run, for sure. Just really, really excellent. A lot of emotions, really riding high. We're really trying to figure out what's going on. It's all about taking, they can only take 6 million people to this new, better world, and everybody wants to go, and everybody, people are peoples, right? So they're fighting over who gets to go, and everybody's got a reason, and, I'm dying, or my child's dying, or my grandma's dying, and everybody wants to go, and it's very, very emotional. And so, of course, we see Superman and Ulysses kind of butting heads over this whole thing, and it's raining the whole issue, so it's very dramatic. But artwork, again, is great. I'm loving this story. I can't wait to see how this arc ends and where we go from here. I give it 4 stars.
Flash 36. We just watched the show, so now I'm getting confused about what I read.
What happened in the Flash?
Let's see. Well, you know, they have two different artists in this issue, and so that's a little distracting to me. Like, there's a future and present day representation in this issue. In the present day issue, artist I am not enjoying as much because I really enjoyed Brett Booth's art, which is in the future. And in the future, he's in this weird world. It's the Nexus, which is within the Speed Force, and there's like dinosaurs and lots of weird, crazy things going on. And it sounds like he's not gonna be able to escape it, and that's kind of interesting. Okay, what's that gonna, you know, what's gonna happen out of that? And then in the present day, the future Flash, who comes back in the blue costume, who looks really, really cool, is now turning kind of like a bad guy, because now that he's stuck here and he's from the future, he knows all the people who have committed crimes from the future, who are now no longer, who got away, or, you know, who didn't, justice was not served, so he's now gonna kill them.
Ooh.
I mean, still Barry Allen, but for some reason this Barry Allen from the future, he's now like, I'm gonna fix this stuff and I'm gonna kill these people off, and so now it seems like they're setting him up for that, and he's been taking over Barry Allen's spot in the present day because of the Speed Force and him traveling time backwards. He's now gotten younger, and so that's what's going on in Flash 36, which I think is still good story-wise. The art I thought was really spotty, so I give it a 3.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh.
Okay. Next up.
Ronnie, what was your next book?
Alright. I was kind of forced into this other book to read by Forced.
Speed
By
Force.
this guy right here.
Nuh-uh.
This guy, yes.
He
I
wanted-
had something else in mind.
he wanted to read Batman 66 issue 17, but we weren't able to get it.
We didn't
So
get it.
whatever.
Yeah,
So whatever. That one had zombies in it. It would have been great. Anyway, Gotham by Midnight. Gotham by Midnight is
Or he was gonna read Justice League Dark.
that's
So,
right.
Anyways,
Gotham by Midnight. Ray Fox,
Issue
Ben
1.
Temple-Smith. I think that this is a great team. I was not really drawn into the story at all. I think it suffers from a really slow start, a lot of new characters. It seems to me like a bit of... I think they're just trying to find a way to say, okay, how do we create an X-Files story that deals with the occult, and let's throw Gotham on the title.
Yeah.
Let's just say, okay, you know, because we know it's going to sell if Gotham is on it. A lot of new characters introduced, at least from my point of view. I'm not a big fan. I haven't not read a lot of the Batman world. One thing I do know is that there are 2 private detectives that are hired by Commissioner Gordon, and they are basically special operatives that are dealing with anything dealing with the occult. And so I'm not going to tell anything more about it. I think the dialogue was pretty good. The story's fine. The artwork by Ben Temple-Smith is moody. The coloring is very dark and muted. I don't think it was a horrible book. I just can't say that I was won over by it.
would you read the second issue?
No,
You
I
be
wouldn't.
honest, yeah.
And I love stories about the occult, and I
Oh.
wasn't even into this.
Oh.
So I would give it. It's hard to say because
Art.
look, if you like anything that's moody, you like things that are, things in the Batman world. You like things that are dark and moody. You like things dealing with the occult. You might like it. It didn't do it for me, so I'm gonna give it 2 stars.
Whoa!
Stars. Oh, burn. All right, so those are our comic book reviews. Now we're gonna jump right into TV. We just finished watching the newest episode of CW's The Flash. And okay,
It was
guys,
called something.
it's called Power Outage.
Yeah,
this
Power
week.
Outage.
This week was Power Outage. Next week.
Episode 7
Next
or
week
something.
is the big crossover event. But we're not there yet. We'll talk about that when we get there. So far of this episode, what did you guys? I mean, just general impressions to start off.
I like this episode.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Yeah. What did you think?
General, I like this episode.
My general impressions were yes.
I like the incorporation of the whole Speed Force thing more than anything. Like I feel like they're adding more to it, and they're bringing it all from the comics. So, the fact that that guy was able to take his Speed Force and somehow I guess he was able to tap into it. Grant Flash was able to tap into it more and up it, as what they were saying in the show. So he was able to, make his power stronger or something like that. I don't know. It's just like the representation of his powers in the show more, and I feel like it's gonna get even better from there.
Right. Yeah, I really like that we're bringing. I liked that there were two villains. First of all, I thought that kind of raised the stakes a
crossover
little
with
bit.
the villain from Arrow, the Clock King.
Right, and so I like that the stakes were a little bit higher this week. It wasn't just another villain of the week. Like, there was a villain of the week, but they kind of split it up amongst two, and so that made the threat even more.
And Dr. Wells was so interesting. Dr. Wells, isn't he so interesting? I feel like you can't tell if he's a good guy or a bad guy. And I thought he was Jay Garrick, which Ryan was like, you're only thinking that now? But I was like, oh my god, what if he's Jay Garrick from the future, or some other, Max Mercury or some Flash-related character?
Yeah.
But you can't tell if he's good or bad with, those stinger scenes at the end, where it's like, okay, does he need that information because he wants to protect or hurt the Flash? Even though he's saying we need to, keep the Flash alive, to keep the future going, but, still, you're not exactly sure what his motivations are. Check things, babe.
I've been enjoying The Flash. I don't think it's the best produced show. I don't think it's the best written show, but I really freaking like it.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's very enjoyable.
I get annoyed sometimes seeing the special effects. They seem a little hokey. But that aside, I just enjoy the show. I do think that this episode moved really quick, and it really I think this could have been a two-parter, and it would have benefited from that, because when the Flash loses his powers, this is a spoiler alert, you start to see how it affects him and how he says he doesn't feel like he is anyone, doesn't feel like he can go on without his powers. And I felt like that was such an emotional part of this, that it was so quickly done.
Yeah.
That I wanted to see that dramatic tension drawn out a little bit more, and I think it would have helped the characterization more. And I don't think you can do that in 45, 48, however minutes.
Well, you can, but you can't do it with two villains and then this Dr. Wells crap, and like there was a lot going on in this episode.
I think
this could have been a two-parter. And in my opinion, I think it would have done really well as an actual
they brought back Girder. Like, there was like a lot going on in this episode.
That they brought back Girder in the way they did, and what happened to
Colossus.
Yeah, Colossus.
Flash Colossus.
I thought that whole storyline with him losing his powers, and then that whole syndrome, what was it called? Piss syndrome.
Not
yips.
piss. It is not piss syndrome. Yips
the Yip
syndrome.
It reminded me too much of what happened to Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2. Not amazing, but the original Spider-Man 2 or whatever, where he lost powers, and it was like alluding to his like what is it? His own self-esteem.
Right.
That thing. Like, it reminded me too much of that, so I'm actually glad they got out of that area quickly.
Right.
So it didn't seem too much like that, because already Grant Gustin's Barry Allen is already very much like Spider-Man anyway. You know what I mean? That jolly, lighthearted, superhero. So I didn't really want to stick in that area too long, because it reminded me too much of that, and I didn't know if I could.
Next week he gets emo hair. So
yeah.
Spoiler. I do like the casting for that character. I was just talking to someone recently about comparing Flash on television with Quicksilver's representation in X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
And I really love Quicksilver's character. This little cocky and arrogant, almost devious at the same time. And I like how they're starting to play off of Flash getting a little cocky about his work, about his powers, and really just jumping into it. And
Quicksilver could be like Impulse, Bart Allen.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I do find Quicksilver a more interesting character as a human being, but
wait,
Flash
in the comic?
In the comic and in the
really?
film. Yep.
Quicksilver's more interesting?
I do think so.
Well, he's different, I guess.
But Flash can do so much more cooler things with his abilities. So.
Well, we don't want to spend too much time on this, but you guys, let's talk about, out of 5 stars, what we give this episode.
I'll give it a just under 4.
Just under 4, okay?
3.5.
3.5. Okay. I'll give it a 4. I think it was one of the better episodes of the show so far. So I'll give it a 4-star. And then
we'll go into video games.
Finally, we're gonna talk about our video games of the week. And you just jump out. The big video game. We're gonna talk about one video game this week. Get back over here.
2.
You can talk.
I'm not much of a gamer, so
it's actually 2.
It's one video game that's actually 2 video games. This week, Carl and I started playing Pokemon! Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. And so just really quick, this is going to be really interesting, because I have played every single Pokemon that has ever been invented. I got into the Pokemon craze when it first came out. This is your very first Pokemon game, your very first DS game.
Yeah, I play that crap.
So, what do you think?
I am addicted and I love it. I go to bed with it. It's
literally,
great.
literally, his DS is literally sitting
There's
here
so many levels
in front of us.
There's so many. Okay, I'm really the type of person who likes strategy games, which involve like turn-based fighting, kind of like Marvel's Avengers Alliance. I was addicted to that. I spent like so much money on that game. But anyways, I love that game. And then I played Rage of Immortals on the iPad, and then I stopped because they're ending it. But this is kind of like along those lines, so it's right up my alley, this type of game, except there's different mechanics in the game that I've experienced in those other games. But then the fighting mechanics in Marvel's Avengers Alliance, I actually like a little bit better than this, because there's actually more to it. But like I said, this game, though, the world of it all, as a whole, is much bigger than Marvel's Avengers Alliance. Yeah. And it's very impressive how much there is in there. And so I was surprised to discover that, because I only thought it was like fight. I thought it was going to be boring like that, but it's not just that. And there's a lot more. And thank God for that, because some of the fighting can get monotonous and boring. And so there's a lot of excitement of getting new characters and mega evolving them. And
there's a lot of mega evolutions. Pretty good story, too.
Evolutional, primordial evolutions. There's still so much to do. We started the game exactly at the same time. I'm not even close to being halfway through, and he's already finished. Yeah. And now there's more after the finish line. There's actually a whole other half.
Yeah, you know what I will say is, because I think this is important to Pokemon fans, and I think it's something that doesn't really get talked about in reviews very much, but we all know that if you play Pokemon, I mean, this is a remake. There's nothing super surprising here, except the graphics are amazing, and there's a lot of mega evolutions that we're dealing with now. But when you go through, your whole thing is to get all the badges and beat the Elite Four. But there is so much after that. You literally can catch almost every single legendary that has ever been in a Pokemon game in this game. And that's really exciting for someone who's, one of my favorite things is catching legendaries and like having that challenge. There's so much after the beating the Elite Four that I'm almost overwhelmed by it. And I didn't feel overwhelmed the entire way through the game. Now I'm like overwhelmed because there's so many things I want to do. And I think it's a true credit to this game that someone who's been playing for years can really enjoy it and have fun, and someone who's never played it before can start and have a really great time.
It's almost a detriment to have this. Okay, we didn't really have this until we started. We started playing, and then we got this, and I decided, let me see if I can follow along in their walkthrough a little bit. And then I realized, holy crap, there's so much stuff that's hidden. It slowed me down that much more and made me much more careful, and started to feel overwhelmed because, wait, I missed that, or wait, I gotta do this and go back.
There's so much.
It's almost better to not do that and just kind of play through it and enjoy it for what it was, and miss all the things that you're probably meant to actually miss because you wouldn't know unless they told you in this, or, I don't know, you might catch it, but then go back and catch everything else.
Right. All right, so that being said, what do you want to give this game for first impressions?
I think it's grand. I think it's grand. A jolly good time. It's
jolly good time. It's grand.
Yeah, it's magnificent. I would give it a 4.17.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 5 because I think it's probably my favorite Pokemon game so far. I mean, I love Soul Silver, but this is really pushing it to the next level. It's awesome. And then 2-second review, I wanted to say I just started playing Tales from the Borderlands today, and I'm really liking it so far. I have not played enough to give it any sort of review or score, but really enjoying it. Can't wait to tell you guys more about it next week.
And he was laughing while I was playing.
It's hilarious.
Did you just move on to something else?
You did. But I want to say,
wait. I want to give it 0 stars. I haven't seen my friend here in a long time. We were on the train coming back from Connecticut, and he didn't talk to me once because he was playing his Pokemon game. So, Pokemon, no, 0 stars. Piece of crap.
0
I didn't get my time connecting with my friend because of a stupid video game. All right, anyway.
I thought you were busy reading your book.
Whatever. I only read it because you were playing your game. Bye.
Oh, darkness.
Oh, I was telling Jason how you're so cool and you could just do whatever. And really he can do his own thing. You don't even have to take care of him.
Oh, dear.
Well, in any case, when I said 4.17, I don't know what the hell I was talking about. I really meant something higher than 5, but it's not the... Yeah, I gave it a 5 as well.
Great. All right, well, that is this week's episode of First Impressions. We want to thank you guys for watching. All right, so Revenge of the Green Dragons is going to be coming out on DVD. It's out available for digital download right now on iTunes and Amazon. And then it'll be available on DVD and Blu-ray on January 15th. You can also follow us on... What is this? You can follow us on Twitter. Follow at Cucamonga at K.C'arl K.Lee. Are you on Twitter? No,
don't worry about it.
You don't follow him on Twitter.
Don't follow me.
You don't follow him on Twitter. You just go out in the street and follow him there. And then And then also, you know, Love Story for Witches is out. We're having a signing next week at Carmine Street Comics. If you're in New York, come on down and see us. And also, happy Thanksgiving, you guys. It was a great Thanksgiving for us. We hope that you had a great Thanksgiving. We're thankful that you guys watch us at all. So we'll see you guys next week for more comics.
My friend for being here.
Oh,
I apparently ignored him.
Ignored me.
Playing
That's all right. You did lots of shopping on Black Friday.
We did a lot.
We did do a lot of shopping.
All right, guys. See you next week. Have a wonderful week.
Peace out.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ow!
Let's do this.
You do it!
All right, that's our comic book reviews for the week.
And also, if you want to put a little beep on, I mean, is okay to say?
No, it's really not.
So, you know, we can take out the, you can put a beep over his or something.
It was your.
Wow.
Take all those out. Oh, that's
All
it. Do
out.
not put that in the, we have, out cuts or
Maybe you can
cuts,
put a little kitty cat with over the
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, we just there's all kinds of things happening very soon.
shit.
Oh, yeah, a lot of time. We are